Good morning, and welcome to my weekly rant. My name is Jonathan Shetke, and I'm running for president. And I hope to have your attention for a few minutes to talk about the current events. The most interesting current event that happened this week was a Navy captain of the USS Theodore Roosevelt, because the Theodore Roosevelt was suffering from several cases of COVID-19, having been posted in the South China Sea during the incident during the January period. Who wrote a memo pleading for help. Please, my ship, I can't stay. Relieve us from our distress. And sent it to 20 other people instead of to his commanding officer or the Pentagon. And the acting Secretary of the Navy, when that memo leaked into the San Francisco Chronicle's pages, stating that the ship was unready for combat, relieved him of command, and then flew out to Guam, where the ship was, and said it was stupid or naive to think in this day and age that wouldn't make its way into the papers. Well, that stupid and naive comment was recorded by somebody in the audience and was stupid and naive in its own way, because the audio of that leaked, and he resigned. What does this tell us? Well, that ship loved their captain more than the country. The people he sent that memo to loved their embarrassing Trump more than the country. Never Trump is desperate, has been desperate since Trump won the nomination. And they haven't stopped being desperate to stop Trump in whatever way they can. And if they can make COVID-19 appear to be a national security issue, to hell with national security in itself. That captain should be court-martialed. He was a never-Trumper. He was designed to be a never-Trumper. He was designed to take that ship and turn it into his personal ship. Never-Trumpers were staffed on that ship at every level in order to bring that ship to a never-Trump state, so that if Trump ordered them to do something they didn't like, and they got the word from the never-Trump hierarchy that the boogaloo was on, they would participate in a rebellion against the duly elected President of the United States. We can see they were in open rebellion on that audio tape. They yelled at the Secretary of the Navy, "Fuck you." The discipline on that ship is gone. It is no longer a Navy ship. It is the private bailiwick of its captain. Every single man on that ship needs to be removed from the Navy immediately. Everyone, top to bottom. The captain, the first officer, every single officer on that ship in every department. We have 10 other carriers. We can easily staff with a tithe that ship. We don't need those men in service to the United States of America because they are not in service to the United States of America. They are in service to their captain. And there is a big difference. Now, my plan for the United States of America's armed forces is simple anyway. Should I become president, I will immediately downsize the Navy to a single carrier group. And if we need more destroyers than that, I would probably keep the destroyer fleet and the sub fleet for patrolling the United States waters. The number of boomers would be dropped down to 1 or 2. The number of attack subs would be a squadron for each ocean. It would be a very tiny Navy. And the reason we would have even that is mainly to teach our men how to be naval officers and run ships, so that when a war actually happened, they could teach the people who would run many, many ships. I don't war. Not a conventional war. Not a war that needs to be fought with ships on the seas. The same thing would happen to the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marines, and the Space Corps. They would all be significantly reduced. The Army would have a single division of armor, a single division of cavalry, and a single division of infantry. And they would be training cadres, and we would keep men in those divisions for as short a time as possible. For the vast majority of the men serving, it would be a single 4-year term or a 2-year term even. And that way we would keep moving people through, and maybe people could be veterans and be ready to be called up if there was a war. But I wouldn't go on any foreign expeditions, and I would cancel all the foreign expeditions that are currently in place. All foreign bases would be...
I want pancakes.
No, we're not having pancakes today. And all foreign bases would be offered for sale with their equipment to the country they are in. If that country didn't want the equipment, we would abandon the base with no equipment. It is not our problem. It is not our job to defend the world. We are the United States of America. We are not the United States of the world. We are not the cops for the world. And should there be a situation in which somebody somewhere in the world makes a viable actual act of war, I would call on Congress to declare war on them. Otherwise, we would not do battle. It is wrong for America to be doing battle at any place, anywhere in this country, anywhere outside of this country without an act of war. The only exception is protecting our merchant uh, marine against the violence in the world. Now, I would also repudiate the 1870 something naval treaty and allow our merchants to arm again. If if most American merchant ships carried a 2-inch gun and could shoot pirates out of the sea, then there would be no need for a navy to bother with escorting them. If the other countries didn't like that, tough luck. I don't think they're going to make a big stink about every American ship carrying a frickin' cannon. And if things get hot around Somalia, for instance, so what? America has the Second Amendment that applies to all arms, large and small. When we when we downsized the military, the arms sales would be open to all Americans. If a state wanted to buy one of the aircraft carriers, have at it. If you want to have Texas own the Theodore Roosevelt, more power to you. California wants to run the Ford, more power to you. New York State decides they can support the USS Nimitz. Go for it.
What did you make?
The same would apply to nuclear power, anything. It is your right as an American. I would cancel all emergencies. There are no more emergencies. America is at peace. There are no national emergencies of any sort. I would free the country from the state of emergency it has been in since the Civil War. That has been the excuse for all these multiple violations of the Constitution. Now, the other thing I would do is I would separate the administrative law that covers what that covers what can the administration of the federal territories uses as law there, and what applies to the entire country. The laws that are not applicable to the entire country, that are outside of the purview of the Constitution, are all administrative laws applicable only in the federal territories. This includes the income tax law. And the income tax law, interestingly enough, excludes the people of the federal territories. I keep this on my desk. If I was president, it would be in my pocket every day. I don't think you have another president candidate out there who's willing to say that. they swear to uphold the Constitution of the United States of America. But then, with their actions, they show they don't even understand the document. If that's the type of person you want for the presidency,
No, it's a magic.
vote for that. If you want somebody who will uphold the Constitution against all comers, foreign and domestic, vote for Jonathan Shafke.